Let's talk about the two women's titles. On Raw, we had Io Sky coming out on TV to give Rhea Ripley a championship match at Evolution next Sunday. Adam Pearce gave her the power to choose her opponent. Io said that she wanted the best. The best, of course, would be Io because she is the champion, but I guess she wanted the best competition. So she chose Rhea Ripley. And that is the biggest match they could do on Raw right now. I expect that to close the show at Evolution. I'm going to run through that card in a little bit. Io Sky has had a horrendous run as the women's champion since WrestleMania. She has barely even been on the show. Just as bad as the run that Mariah May had as the AEW women's champion. But Mariah's was better because at least she actually defended her title against different people. Nyla Rose, Willow Nightingale, Anna Jay. Io hasn't even been a factor on these shows. When we get her in little bits in the back. Other than WrestleMania, you would have to go all the way back to Bad Blood in October to find a women's world title defense on a PLE. Now, we're not talking about the women's intercontinental title. We're not talking about the women's United States Championship. We're talking about the world title. Triple H has done a very poor job. Then on SmackDown, we had Tiffany Stratton come out to name her opponent for Evolution, which was Trish Stratus. So we got the same angle on both shows with the champions handpicking their opponent. At least on Raw, Rhea made the most sense. Trish, on the other hand, came out of left field because they wanted to have a legend on the show. And Trish made sense because it's the 25-year anniversary, and she already tagged with Tiffany at Elimination Chamber earlier this year. And yet it still feels completely random. Like, that this is how we got to this point. I can't sit here and criticize Bill Goldberg getting a title shot on Saturday the way that he did and not call out Trish Stratus getting one on Sunday in basically the same way. Like, the way they announced Goldberg and Gunther as a title match, very lazy. There was a way to do it that would have been better, but they took the easy way out. Very lazy, very low effort booking. And that's exactly what this is. They just show up and boom, title match. And they announced this 9 days before the show. Has there been another PLE in recent memory with as little effort put into it as that Evolution show next Sunday? I mean, seriously. They have been rushing to put a card together like it's an afterthought. And they have a bunch of matches. They have half a dozen matches. So it's a full card. And yet it just feels so rushed and slapped together. Because it is. That's exactly what that show is. And the only reason we're even getting another Evolution in the first place after 7 years is because AEW is running its biggest show of the year next weekend. That is the only reason we are getting this show. So what they have done is they have flooded the zone with content Saturday and Sunday. Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, Evolution. And it shows in the ticket sales for the show. Saturday night's main event and Evolution are both being held at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. Okay, same building. Great American Bash is at center stage. So they're going to have like 700 people there. And it's still not sold out, by the way. But it'll be full. One way or the other, come next weekend, it'll be full. Saturday night's main event has almost 11,000 tickets out. Evolution, the next night in the same building, doesn't even have 5,000. WrestleTix says it's very likely people in the upper bowl will end up being moved down to the lower bowl to make it look more full. That first Evolution show they ever did at the Nassau Coliseum, they had around 11,000 people. Now, it also had Ronda Rousey in the main event, which was the entire reason they even did that show. But they also had a hot feud with Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch that was going on at the time. I mean, this is when Becky was really taking off and was super popular. This show has none of that. Like, what's the real hook for this show? But the fact that it's being slapped together in the way that it is with no real sense of importance, that has a lot to do with it. Saturday night's main event, I mean, they have the hook of Goldberg's final match, whatever that's worth at this point. But this is what happens when you put in the bare minimum effort. And I guarantee you, if and when the event flops, the women will get the blame for it. They can't draw. That's why they can't have their own PLE. So it's not even worth it to book another one of these. It'll be another 7 years before you see an Evolution show. Now, Evolution 2 is next Sunday. Big gap between Evolution 1 and Evolution 2. It is next Sunday with a 7 o'clock Eastern start time. We've got 6 matches announced, including a battle royal with the winner receiving a championship match at Clash in Paris, which is coming up at the end of August. This is how they get some more legends in there. Nikki Bella will probably be in there. She was going to do something with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan got hurt. And again, I want to mention that real quick because Liv Morgan supposedly was factored into this show in a major way. So whatever she was going to do with Nikki Bella, whether it was going to be one-on-one or if they were going to do a tag team title match with both Bellas challenging Liv and Raquel, Liv was going to have a role on this show. That does not have anything to do. I'm not going to give WWE a pass if they had plans for the show that had to slightly be adjusted because one person got hurt. So I don't want to hear people using that as an excuse if it's like, well, you know, the show kind of feels slapped together at the last minute. It's because Liv Morgan got hurt. No, it's slapped together at the last minute without a whole lot of thought being put into it because that's the way it was conceived. Has nothing to do with Liv Morgan getting hurt, although it did force some plans for the show to be changed. So we don't know what Nikki Bella is going to be doing. This would be the most likely scenario, just having her, at least her, if not her sister, in this battle royal. Sure, she's going to be on the show still. Stephanie Vicaire is in there. I know that. And without knowing who the other names are going to be, Stephanie is my pick to win this. At least there's something of importance at stake. It's not just a battle royal for the sake of having a battle royal and getting as many people on the show as possible. There is something of value that is on the line here. So these women should be fighting for it like it's the most important thing in the world. I think Stephanie takes it. Jade Cargill gets Naomi in a no-holds-barred match. This is a rematch from WrestleMania, which Jade won. Naomi has the Money in the Bank briefcase, which in their eyes means that she can lose. Jade just won Queen of the Ring. She's the one challenging for the women's title at SummerSlam. I can't see her losing here, especially because I think when Naomi does cash in, it's going to end up screwing Jade over in some way anyway. So I'm picking Jade to win. Question is, do we see Bianca Belair getting involved here in some way? She may not be physically cleared to wrestle yet, but is she going to be there and is she going to factor into this match in some form or fashion? Roxanne Perez is officially one half of the women's tag team champions after Finn Balor lobbied for her to replace Liv Morgan, which Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis agreed to, but they also said that they would have to defend those titles in a fatal four-way match against one team from Raw, one team from SmackDown, and one team from NXT. As I am recording this, we only know of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. They will be repping SmackDown. On the Raw side of things, I'm thinking it'll end up being Asuka and Kairi Sane, most likely. And from NXT, we're looking at either Sol Ruka and Zarya or the other two members of Fatal Influence. Either way, I think the Judgment Day retains. And they save the Charlotte and Alexa win for another day, maybe SummerSlam, because I do see them winning the women's tag team titles, just not on this show. Jacy Jayne is the other member of Fatal Influence. She is the NXT Women's Champion. She will be defending that title against the winner of the Evolution Eliminator Tournament, Jordynne Grace. I love how Shawn Michaels sets up this entire tournament to crown a number one contender, while on the main roster, the GMs are just letting the champions come out the week before and just pick the person they want to defend the title against. Yeah, they said I could pick my opponent. I choose, like they're a fucking Pokemon or something. I choose you. Grace is teaming with Blake Monroe the night before at the Great American Bash to take on Fatal Influence. Here's my prediction. I think the baby faces are going to win on Saturday. And because of that, Jacy Jayne is going to retain her title on Sunday. I don't think they're going to put the championship on Jordynne Grace. I just feel like she's probably main roster bound sooner rather than later. And I also feel like when Blake Monroe wins the championship, it's going to be off of Jacy Jayne. It's not going to be off of Jordynne Grace. So I'm actually going to go with Jacy, which is, I would imagine that's probably not the popular opinion, but I think she's going to find a way to retain that title on Sunday. Tiffany Stratton defends the WWE Women's Championship against the Hall of Famer, Trish Stratus. It's a way to get Trish on the show in a marquee match. It will be her first singles match since Payback in 2023 inside a steel cage against Becky Lynch, which, by the way, was the best match of her career. If you take off the rose-colored glasses for days gone by, Trish has never had a better match than the match she had at Payback against Becky Lynch. But she was in there with Becky, and that was paying off a months-long feud between the two of them. This is being thrown together a week before the show with no real story to speak of, and Tiffany Stratton is not Becky Lynch. So it's a crapshoot here as far as match quality. But Trish showed that she still got it in her to have a great one, and I hope they go out there and do. She has absolutely no chance of winning the title, so Tiffany is retaining. And in what should be the main event, Io Sky defends her Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley. We are not getting a title change on the SmackDown side, but I think we get one on the Raw side. Io already holds 2 wins over Rhea this year. The match on Raw where she won the title, and again in the triple threat match at WrestleMania. Rhea has been out of the title picture ever since. She's one of the biggest stars in the entire company, and we are heading into their second biggest show of the year. I think they're going to want that title back around her waist. I would like for Io to get some more time with it, but I think her time is up. And the only real question I have is, do they want Rhea Ripley to go into Perth as the champion, or do they want her to go in as the challenger to win the title there? Because Crown Jewel is coming to Perth, Australia in October. Now, the last time they brought a PLE to Perth, it was Elimination Chamber last year. And Rhea main evented the show as the defending champion against Nia Jax. It's hard for me to imagine her losing here and then losing again at SummerSlam just to get us to October so they could do a title change on that show. I think there's a better chance she goes into that show as the champion. But that's the only thing I'm unsure of. It's just the timing of it. Maybe they want her big crowning moment to be there. But I'm trying to see the vision of how we hold off and get there. And then what she does in the meantime. So I'm predicting a Rhea Ripley title win here in the main event of this show. And again, it looks like we're going to get a triple threat match very soon with Becky Lynch defending her Intercontinental title against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Whether it happens on Saturday night's main event or it happens on the Evolution card, either way, I think we do get it next weekend. And if we do, I've got Becky Lynch retaining. So if anything changes with the card, I will run through it all over again next week because we do have one more sound off before the show. And then I will be live on YouTube for the post show next Sunday. You get a daytime podcast and a nightcap. Lucky you.